Neighbors say the blast made them spring out of their chairs, it was so loud. They claim they hear trees coming down in this area all the time, but this was on another level, being heard miles away. Now the point of impact was a home right behind me here. Each of these contains 2 4-milligram nasal sprays. If you see someone overdosing, grab one of the sprays and shoot it up their nose. Obviously, we'll be back live here at 6 Kaylee. For now, I'm going to go grab myself another bra. I've had about 3 today. I think we can kick that number up a few, maybe 5 or 6, then go into a food coma for the US Women's National Team game. Now, if you need the latest voting information here in Illinois, you can visit elections.il.gov, like I did right before the show. Now, on the site, you will find information, anything really you're looking for when it comes to voting, regarding like when the next election is, for example, on the right-hand side, and where your polling locations are. There are multiple factors with pretrial fairness that could cause lawyers to be busier in the state line. Time will be of the essence when a person is arrested and if they have to go to trial. While some are worried about the increase in workload, others say the key to staying ahead is making the necessary preparations. Now I'm going to step to the side and let our photographer Timmy do a quick pan shot and show the guys and gals what it's looking like out here. Now this is just off Interstate 90, and both Rockford and Hard Rock leaders hope this new flashy casino and the amenities that comes with it will attract visitors from all over the Midwest. Construction on this project is expected to be complete by the spring of 2024. City leaders are hoping that the power of the horse will help quell the growing rates of violence, depression and anxiety we are seeing in our nation's youth. Because the avian flu has wiped out so many birds, Larson predicts that we could be waiting until the end of summer before prices return to normal. 164 teams comprised of 10 to 25 skaters, staying in 83 hotels around the region with an estimated economic impact of $2.9 million. And some of those teams are from our area. On May 6, 1984, President Ronald Reagan passed Proclamation 5187, declaring the first week in May to be National Correctional Officers Week. He stated that the role of a correctional officer has become increasingly complex and demanding, and these men and women should be honored. Now this is what the older dugouts in the ballpark look like. The new ones will be built with cinder block, not wood, to reduce the risk of storm damage in the future. Since moving into the area, Hard Rock's temporary casino has created hundreds of jobs for Rockfordians, generating millions of dollars in revenue. But now, one box on the casino floor is supporting charities across the region. If you make a stop inside the Hard Rock Casino, you may see a small donation box.
Hard Rock's synonymous with, music and any organization that, fosters local music.
In January, passers-by threw around $2,000 in the box. That money went to the Rockford area music industry, which used it to support the Music Academy.
It's our goal to allow all students to thrive musically and personally, regardless of age, regardless of ability, and regardless of circumstance.
If you listen closely, you'll hear the inspiration behind this donation.
It's just so fun, and the people that are in the community are so amazing to work with.
This is Sarah Pearl Anderson, a student with Auburn High School.
I was doing violin for a while, and then I got the Grammy Scholarship, and that allowed me to try out the piano, which I am still doing today.
Anderson was born without the ability to hear, but when she was 5, one doctor changed that.
He gave me an experimental process to try to give me my hearing back, and it worked. And he was so excited that he gave me his kids' violins for me to start out with.
Anderson says music will pull on her heartstrings for the rest of her life and encourages anyone of any age to give it a try.
To people that think that they didn't start early enough, there's always a community for someone out there. So, it doesn't really matter what your background is. You can just kind of come right in.
Anderson says she plans on graduating Auburn and double majoring in both music and another concentration in college, forever keeping her violin close by.
A day after ice storms hit the state line, sending thousands of people into the dark, crews work frantically to turn the power back on.
23 News reporter Conor Hollingsworth talks with people trying to find a bright spot while waiting for their lights to shine again.
Nothing.
The light switch works, but the power doesn't. This is the case in many homes across the state line. In Cherry Valley, a downed line cut the power off to this neighborhood.
I'm trying to find a generator right now just to have power for the fridge. We're on a well, so we can't even use water right now.
Here in northwest Rockford, a couple of residents tell me that the entire block is without power. Now, they've gotten in contact with ComEd, who have told them they could be waiting until at least Saturday for power to be restored.
I have a fire in the fireplace, and I'm mostly lying down in front of the fire, slept in a sleeping bag. Everything's okay.
The power just went out. Luckily, I had a few candles already lit at my desk, but it was, I did a Zoom by candlelight. I had a hotspot on my phone.
Rockford resident Joy Thomas and her husband Vinny are some of those who might not have power back until the weekend. She says she's not so worried for herself, but for her elderly neighbors.
Vinny went and helped the ladies manually open their garages so they could at least get their cars and go, run to the store if they need to.
ComEd says its crews will focus on the critical areas first. CEO Gil Quinonez says it's an all-hands-on-deck situation.
We are doing everything we can, and we are working 24/7 because we understand the criticality of having electricity.
Working for you in Rockford, Conor Hollingsworth, 23 News. Mason Barnaby, a recent Harlem High School grad, Jacob Torgerson, a recent Hononegah grad, and an unnamed teenager from the Roscoe area. All three tragically lost their lives in separate car accidents in the last few weeks. And as temperatures get cooler and the weather gets rougher, law enforcement urges students to be careful on the roads.
There's so much in our driving situations that are not under our control, so we should do everything in our power for those things that are under our control.
Diane Koenig's mother, grandmother, and stepfather were traveling on a rural highway in 1995 when a semi-truck driver ran a stop sign, killing them instantly.
The sea of emergency lights, when we started driving up to it, I can't go to a parade even still. All those lights at one time just send me right back to that.
Almost 20 years to the day, Diane's daughter and two of her friends from Stillman Valley High School were involved in another fatal car accident.
We all started just trying to call them, and not a single one of them were answering their phones. And I think that's when I realized that the only reason they wouldn't be answering their phones is if it was a lot worse than what we all had thought.
Diane's daughter survived, but Emily Fleming, another senior at the school, died, as well as the driver of the other car.
It can easily happen to anyone, and that's why we have to control the things that we can control.
When you respond to these crash sites, has it gotten any easier for you?
No.
Sheriff Gary Caruana says because teen drivers have less experience, it's vital they follow their teacher's advice and don't drive distracted.
As parents, you need to address that. We as law enforcement need to address that. Obviously, these are the facts. Let's deal with the facts. And when we deal with the facts, we can correct the behavior, and that's what we want to do.
And for Koenig, she hopes no family has to go through a similar tragedy.
Sleep is horrible because you have to sleep, but in your dreams, sometimes they're alive again. And then when you wake up, you have to do it all over again to a certain extent, until it's further out.
Koenig urges parents to act responsibly when driving, because kids watch what their parents do. If they see their parents not obeying the rules of the road, they are more likely to do it as well.